And it looks like we are live, so I'm going to say hello, everyone, and welcome to a terrible stream for terrible people. How are we doing this fine Monday? What have you been up to? What have you been doing? Why were you doing it? Was it even worth it in the end? Yeah, how's it going? So some breaking news, just amazing, just world-changing, life-affirming news. Mrs. Sick has her own stream now, so if you want to talk about Egypt, you can go there, as long as it's in between about 10 and about 2 GMT weekdays. So some of you will know, some of you have turned up, because she started streaming last week, and she streamed today as well. You've done like 4 streams at this point?
Yeah. I thought you weren't going to mention it.
No. What I told you is we would talk about it on the stream, but I'm not going to post it into my YouTube general community, because that's like the biggest bit of the community so far.
Okay.
But you know, this will be reasonable. So I've linked it in the I think I've linked it in the. I can't actually see if I have. I need to go check my own stream.
Ah, no, I've got freaking COVID. Oh,
Who got COVID?
Jonathan.
Oh, that's genuinely
that sucks,
super
dude.
lame. Yeah, it's in my my what's name? I can't think what it's called, but it's at the top. It's at the top of the
It's in your box.
video about the doobly doo. That's what they used to call it. Some people still do, but yeah. So they're really good, and she's doing really well. She's been playing Dark Souls, and been fucking crushing it. Someone certainly is sexy today. Yes, you are. 8 months member. That it doesn't get much sexier than that. I mean, it does. There's like infinite months that you could remain, but you know they're all pretty goddamn sexy. Much sexier than. No, I'm not going to say that. I'm not going to push it. You are also attractive if you aren't a member of my channel, but it doesn't not help. So is that why you took her mic away? I can't hear her.
I'm like right next to the microphone.
Yeah.
Either Sick is just infinitely louder than I am.
Mine is like very near my face, but I'm trying not to talk
Like
too
if
loud.
I push my lips out, I could touch it.
I can try turning myself down and turning her up a little bit, and that might work. So try speaking again, woman.
I'm having Tango Mango.
Tango Mango?
Mm-hmm.
How do you find it?
Eh.
It's very
Yeah,
it's fine.
Okay.
I thought it was going to be much nicer than it was, but no.
It's liquid.
Holy shite, Sick is back. But Mrs. Sick prefers his boobs. She does. She loves my boobs.
I do. They're amazing.
She's all over my my chesticles.
He doesn't like it when I poke his boobs.
No. Some lady at work. Oh my god. If you can tell, my throat is still not ideal. Some lady at work was talking about her inbox and said something about rooting around in her box. I giggled like a 12-year-old. That is fair. No, voice assistant. I said nothing to you. Fuck off. Shut up. Shut up. No.
Oh my god.
Gemini, shut the fuck up. Ah!
Just
stop.
Just turn it off.
Here's the definition of stop. Fuck you. Twat. Yeah. That's actually something I've been considering recently, is moving from the old Alexas and your Google Home voice assistants, where it's just sending all your fucking everything you say and all your data to somewhere.
You've set up the assistant thing. I haven't.
I didn't set it up. I didn't do anything. It just does.
I don't know.
I guess I agreed that it could work.
I don't know. I just went through all the settings, and anything that can make a loud noise, I just turned everything off.
Don't suck it. Talk into it. One day it'll talk back. Okay. But yeah, I'm looking into like doing some open source ones. Not that I'd be making them in any way, shape, or form, but like what is available out there and seeing how those works. Because all anyone uses them for And I think a lot of the companies admitted that it annoyed them.
Men don't have boobs. If they had fun bags, they would never leave the house. I beg to differ.
Plenty of men have boobs. They're not the same as proper boobs, I'll be honest. But many.
I don't know, they're pretty close.
Someone else's boobs are always better. Even if I had perfect, amazing, like stripper titties, I wouldn't sit at home playing with them because they'd still be mine.
I play with mine.
Yeah, but I wouldn't be like into it.
No, I'm not into it. It's just like boobs.
They'd essentially be a fidget toy.
Yeah.
It's the same like cupping your balls. Like, I'm sure gay dudes cup their balls. I'm also pretty damn sure they don't get off of it unless they're utter narcissists. And then you've got a different problem anyway. Sessick is raging against the machines again. I always say,
old man shouts at fun.
Be as rude as possible to all of the voice assistants and all that, because when the machines take over, they will kill you first. Perfect. You don't have to go work in the slave mines. You'll be dead. You'll be fine. That's how you win. I'm so bored. Need whiskey and Egyptian chat. Like I said, the Egyptian chat, you have all the time in the world. Like, at least...
he is slightly not as loud as he usually is. Well, for you guys anyway. For me, it's just as loud. So yeah. I think it's because he's changed his audio settings.
I've tried to change it so that it's more balanced between us two. I have tits, but nobody cares. Oh, I care. I care about your boobs real big. Real bigly boob care. Volume low. I mean, you do have the ability to change your volume. You are aware of that. I mean, probably not infinitely, but yeah. Audio is down a bit. I mean, I can put the between us audio, and that might improve things. See, it's such a balancing. It also depends where the fuck I put my mic that day. But yeah. So, like I said, go subscribe to Mrs. Six. She's linked in the thing. I could probably link her in the chat as well. No, that just says
Dan. Not doing it for gratification, just because they are boobs. I mean, boobs. They're just boobs. They are fun. Yes. I agree.
Boobs is the fun. They are the best boobs. Mrs.
I have a thing about squishy things anyway, so it's like they're right in front of me, so I might as well.
The squishy things are in front of you. I mean, that is very important.
There's also the fact that they get in the way, so I have to move them occasionally.
There we go. There's the link to her YouTube. You go subscribe. You do it now.
Stop.
BMX isn't dead. I mean, it's pretty dead. I don't know. I have no idea. I've never been particularly into it as a hobby. I kind of used to like watching like skateboarding, but like only high-end stuff. The only other direction is to watch people falling over and really carking it. That can be quite fun. But other than that,
I don't like it when people are falling over.
Yeah.
I always end up feeling the pain, and I'm like, that is horrible.
We watch a lot of random meme things, and I used to watch fail compilations, but Mrs. Sick doesn't like them.
No.
They make her feel the pain or the fear. Like when it's like a car accident or something. That really fucks with her. So Sick, I sent one of my theatre friends to watch your content and he enjoyed it. Your takedown's a big, silly appeal to him. Oh, I'm glad to hear it. Thank you very much. I saw a pillow fighting tournament on ESPN the other day. That sounds fucking amazing.
Why?
Was it hardcore? Did they have like bricks instead of cushions?
Like, memory foam pillows. Oof.
I prefer rollerblading over skateboarding. Me too, actually. Including watching it. Like I used to rollerblade as a kid. Have not done for many years. I would probably hurt myself now. But also watching it, like those motherfuckers can fling themselves. It's ridiculous. How's the feline Sick doing? She's fine. Annoying as ever.
Yeah, she
Small
shouts.
and ginger and loud. And fast.
Schadenfreude is a hell of a word. Yes.
Yeah. Mrs. Sick bought the cat a bunch of toys.
Mm-hmm.
Including a duck that she seems to really,
she
like.
really likes the duck.
I was sat watching her in the living room and she just like...
throwing it around.
Yeah, she goes through boxes because every time we have a new Amazon box, she's like, "Oh, is this mine?" And so we'll put that on the floor for her to like live in for a bit. And she was sat in it, and then she stood up, and she just fucking yeeted one of her toys right out of her thing, and it went completely disappeared into the ether, and she looked quite upset with herself. I used to have memory foam pillows, but they developed amnesia. They do. They have a bad habit of that. I think that's the problem with memory foam. It's actually the opposite. No memory foam. He said, can you please update the playlist? So, as far as I'm aware, the playlist is up to date. It's just gone out of order for reasons that I don't know. And I'll be honest, I kind of don't want to sit there for hours and hours and hours having to reorganize every fucking bit. I might do it at some point if I think
something needs organizing, you can ask me.
That's true. You do like to organize.
I do.
But we'll see. Because I came to it and all the videos are in it. It's just people were like, "Oh, it's not added any in ages," and it's like, "No, it has. It just decided to add it at the other end for no fucking reason, or like in the middle, sort of." It was very strange. I don't really understand. But I'll try. It definitely has stuff. If you mean update as in reorganize, then maybe.
I'm here, but I'm eating chicken with my fingers. Chicken fat and keyboard bad combo, but yes.
That's why you use your nose. You've got to have typed a little bit with your nose at least once in your life, whether on your phone or on an actual keyboard. Sometimes your hands are full. Did you see the Fight the Flat Earth debate with Jim Bob? I don't tend to watch debates. They are of very little interest to me. It's mostly just people talking over each other. And even if it isn't, it's usually not all that engaging to me. I don't find many people that interesting to listen to, like in a live setting. I prefer things that are a bit more specifically made to be entertaining, and it's just not my jam.
I want to learn to roller skate, but I'm 51 and I'm too old to learn something new. No, you're not.
Yeah, you could learn that. The problem with learning to skate is that your fuck ups are going to hurt a lot more.
Yeah.
And they have a real high potential
of
causing you permanent damage.
This is why you go somewhere where it's a little bit safer.
But learning new things is fine. Like, just know your limits, I guess. But you can learn all sorts of stupid shit. Yeah, don't watch much live streaming. Yeah, I said that. And I'm just trying to promote Mrs. Six live stream. But she is playing a Vimeo, James, and trying to get good, which is, I think, different. And I'm biased, so I still think they're good. But yeah, most live streams aren't my form of entertainment.
They're not good.
Yeah. You what?
They're not good.
You beat the Gaping Dragon on your third go, pretty much on your own.
Yeah, not on my own. I got hints from chat.
No, that counts as on your own. That counts as soloing it, essentially. It wasn't technically solo. She went in with Solaire, and then he died almost fucking immediately. And then I just watched her chip away at this fucking boss that drove me crazy for ages. And I'm like, when did she get good?
I didn't.
you did. Or it's patience, I don't know. But yeah, an 80-year-old woman learned how to paint, and she got really good. It's never too late.
Yeah.
Yeah, of course. If anything, it's probably a good way to quote-unquote stay young.
Yeah, it keeps your mind busy as well.
Keeps your mind busy. And also, if you're learning something new, it's going to take a while.
Like, brains tend to like projects. They like things that are a challenge. And it keeps it ticking away and keeps it thinking about things. And yeah.
Well, I think the other thing is, it's a new learning experience. And so it will take a while. And the problem with brains is that they like to combine all your experiences together. So, like, the last 10 years, since I've had kids, they've been pretty fucking similar to each other because we haven't had the same sort of freedom we had when we were a bit younger. So we don't really go at the same rate we used to. We don't hang out with all sorts of people like we used to. And so it's gone very, very fast. I had some success in YouTube, but making YouTube videos is largely a similar experience. Even though I do enjoy what I do, and I do think that I've managed to keep up an amount of variety in most my replies and my comedy stylings, if you want to call it that. It's still something that's familiar every single day. I treat it as a 9 to 5 job, and that means my weeks go fucking fast. I mean, I'm really looking forward to the holiday because it's going to be wildly different than the last 20 fucking years of my life. So hopefully that'll give us a big memory. And I think when the kids are old enough that they can sort of take care of themselves and be responsible on their own, which we're not quite there yet. I'm going to go out and like do things and hopefully experience new and interesting things.
Skating full armor with a jousting lance at a stadium with sponsors. Shit.
I mean,
it develops a new sport.
That's one way to do it.
I think we should bring back jousting.
I think we should bring back jousting, but the jousting stick, or whatever it's called, should be held by the genitals.
What?
I don't know. What? Turned 40 last year and decided to finally learn how to draw. A year later is a year of progress that I wouldn't have made if I hadn't started. I mean, that is utterly correct. Yeah. I should try to pick up a new hobby. What country would you potentially retire to? Like, we like the idea of Japan.
Yeah.
But I think it's mostly just as an idea. A, it's very difficult to emigrate to Japan. And B, I think I'd prefer to be somewhere where I could actually talk to most people instead of just, I don't know. Tom Scott learned to ride a bike in his 30s on his channel. Not a bad video. I have seen that video. And, yeah, you could see his progress is pretty fast. Out. As in outside. Are you mad? Sometimes. I actually sometimes like outside. I even sometimes like the humans out there. As long as they don't talk to me. I'm thinking of forgetting a skill. I mean, if you could forget something and then relearn it, because you know you've done it once before, or at least you think you know you've done it once before. That guy in the video who said he was going into the memory wipe thing told you did. You could lie to yourself. Go to the memory wiping clinic, as is a real thing, because we live in the universe of Eternal Sunshine of the Spotless Mind, or other films that do that.
That's a good movie.
And you say, I want you to learn this skill that I had such great fun learning, and it's like something that you never did before, but you just lie to yourself to see if you'll go, oh wow, I really do want to know that again, and you'll put in the effort because you think you're going to get good. Maybe. Is it cruel to fuck with yourself? I don't know. But it's at least funny. You can talk to people in Japan, getting them to understand you is the hard part. Yeah. I imagine that, yeah. Were you always an atheist? No. But it's a sort of, I don't want to call it a tentative no. I had a family and we went to church and I sort of believed in God, but it was very sort of, I don't know. I don't think it was like
uncommitted, I would say.
Yeah, a strong belief. And once I started like looking into these ideas and actually deciding, right, do I believe and all this shit and really analyzing my beliefs and figuring out what I really thought was true and not, I found out that, oh no.
And then upsetting your grandparents.
Yeah, well, specifically my grandmother, who would sit there and say really ridiculous shit to me, and I couldn't help but laugh in her face. I felt like an asshole, but, you know, don't say ridiculous shit to people. But, yeah. Some would say, oh, well, you were a fake Christian, blah, blah, blah. It's like, when I tried to become more Christian, I became less Christian. I'm sorry. I don't know what to tell you. Japan is amazing. I was lucky to live there a bit and got to go back when I was on a tour show. Okay, cool. Yeah, I think it's definitely somewhere that we need to visit at least once.
Yeah, I'd like to go to Japan, mainly just because, like, we played a lot of the Yakuza games, and walking around in like the Tokyo district, and it was just like beautiful, and it's just like it's such an experience, and actually go there in real life and actually see it would be amazing.
The stream is a little quiet because I turned myself down and Mrs. Sick up, so hopefully it should be more balanced.
You can always turn us both up.
How much of the Bible have you actually read? Enough. I'm not going to claim that I've read every last bit of it. I've read a lot of passages, certainly ones that people have used to try and convince me of something. Like I'll read the passage and the context, but I've never sat down and read all the way through. And most people who say they have, I don't fucking believe them.
I don't. Yeah, but you can't though. You're not somebody who sits and reads like that though.
True.
You don't have the attention span for it.
No.
Unfortunately.
I've
all
read
the time.
a lot of bits of it.
All the time to do it.
Enough. Same about 3 pages. Got bored and put it down. Yeah. I think I read largely through Genesis.
Like, I don't have a problem.
And,
like,
yeah, it's a bit much.
I don't have a problem with the Bible as a storybook. It takes inspiration from a lot of older stories as well. So it's actually preserved things that might have been lost. But I do not see it as like a literal book in that the same sense as like reading any other type of like religious text. You got to take it with a huge dose of salt because, you know, people who are in charge can write anything they want in it, and yeah, you can't take it like massively seriously.
Proverbs. The Bible condemns. It's just a prank, bro. Fair. It's a shite story.
You should visit Canada before the next Great War, lol.
I wouldn't say that it's necessarily the worst story in the world, but it's definitely not the best, as some would claim. There are way better written stories. They have explosions in them and everything.
The biggest problem is because the Bible took stories from many different connected cultures around the area. It took away it basically the same thing as when you read something that's been translated into English that was originally in a different language. It kind of loses the cultural context, and I think that's kind of like the Bible. It's been translated so many times as well. It's lost a lot of cultural context.
Why isn't the president of Canada a polar bear? They outnumber the human population. That's fair. We should look into that. I love being the atheist who has read the Bible multiple times.
I'd love to ride a polar bear. That'd be amazing.
But is never sober enough to explain why the fundamentalist is so far off base. It's laughable. I mean, I can't imagine reading the Bible multiple times over and over again and not finding that it's absolutely nonsensical, which is part of why I don't believe when Christians say that they do, and it just strengthened their faith. I'm like, did you see all the bits?
There's bits in it where God's a blatant child murderer and he's really proud of it, and yeah, it's just like, okay, calm down.
I read books. But yeah, I'd rather just read something interesting. By the way, I love your content. As myself, I'm studying religion and philosophy in college. Your videos bring me back down to logical thinking. I've read the Bible as well as the Quran, and so on myself. Yeah, cool, good for you. I've not read any of the Quran, whether translated or otherwise.
I read some.
I have also seen passages from that. Some of them are kind of wild.
Yeah.
Strangely more wild than some things in the normal Bible, which is impressive.
With the Quran, though, they have, passages that were written in a time of war. And so they're all about being self-defensive and protective and, very aggressive towards the enemy. And then in times of peace, it's all like, yay, love and light, and yeah.
It's more like the most wild things in it are like way more wild.
Oh, you mean like
going to the fucking moon?
Yeah.
That's like
the unicorn thing.
That is just taking, that is fan fiction.
Yeah.
Like, I'm sorry, but that is clearly and obviously fan fiction. Translating has always been reliable, especially when you downstream translate several times more. The Bible is perfect inspired word of God, TM. So it should always be a perfect translation. Now, if God came down and translated it himself,
right? So, but
and
like,
we could watch,
if you put something into Google Translate and then you get it translated to a different language and then translated back, it will be weird.
I mean, that's a sort of a bad example, because at least when humans are translating something, they can at least attempt to maintain some of its integrity.
But there's a difference between translating and interpreting. So, like, you have to kind of, like, interpret the actual feeling behind certain words. Like, I've read a lot of philosophy books that are translated into English, and the translator pages are all like, we really tried to get this, like, word particularly right. It's just there's not really an English word that kind of works, so we just kind of had to settle on this. And it's just like, it doesn't really fulfill the role of the word very well, but this is the best we can do. And it's the same with a lot of translations. It's always slightly off.
Did Sick get sick again? Depends.
I'm still
sick from Christmas. But it's not the same sickness that I got before Christmas. I'm not sick. My chest is still grody, and it's still like a few weeks before I should think about talking to a doctor. But I feel like I'm getting slowly better. I think it's just because I'm old and fat. Monk's translated a lot of things. I don't know if I can trust anyone who has that hairstyle without being ironic about it. Even if you're being ironic about it, I feel actually, if you do that hairstyle and you are being ironic, you've just, like, completely fucked up your head for no reason. Just a terrible thing to do. I have the sniffles. If I get snot on you, it's your fault for reading this. That makes sense. Years ago, some people out my way had cow don't vote bomb mosquito. What the fuck? I feel like I'm having a stroke reading this comment.
I don't know what
Years
you're reading.
ago, some people out my way had cow don't vote bomber stickers. What?
I don't know. That's like listening, like when I read out my sister's texts. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah. I feel like I'm missing something, or maybe some punctuation. There's also scientific inaccuracies in the Quran. You don't even have to tell me the actual places of it. We know. Do you smell toast? Unfortunately not. I would love some toast. People had to copy scripts by hand, so there are a lot of room for people to add, change, remove shit. Yeah, I mean, fuck that job. The people who had just sat there to make a copy of something, you literally had to copy it. Cows don't vote bumper stickers. Is that what you were saying? Okay. I read your sister's text and toast. You read her toast. Don't mind you reading her texts, but Jesus Christ. No, Mrs. Six's sister has absolutely insane texting. You know how doctors write? That's how she texts. It is completely fucking ineligible.
Not just
half
that,
the time.
she does it in a Yorkshire accent as well.
Oh yeah, she has an accent in it. It can be very difficult to figure out what she's saying. We have to sit down and we bring out the runes, and we get a scribe, and we sit down and we have to work this shit out. And half the time it's just, okay, thanks, bye. So for fuck's sake, why did that have to be so confusing? Hate going to doctors for a cough. You go to the pharmacist, they tell you, oh, it's been over 2 weeks, you need to see the GP. So you reluctantly see the TP, who tells you off for just a cough.
How do you text with an accent? You miss out certain...
Technically a dialect.
Yeah, you kind of miss out certain words. and you use abbreviations, and you change how...
She'll use T for the, so T.
Yeah, and things like that.
Out wrong with texting like Yorkshireman.
Yeah, basically a bit like that.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Except she also just misses out letters completely.
Or sometimes words completely.
Yeah, and other added things, and it's just... We don't know if she just doesn't fucking check her texts, or she thinks this is fine, but
I think what her problem is she speed texts and then just sends it without checking it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's gibberish, and it can be very infuriating to have a conversation with her. Both me and Mrs. Sick just write full sentences.
When Victorians translated the Bible, they mostly cooked off their tits.
I feel like that one was missed in the live chat.
That made me want to spoon out my eyes. Yeah.
Has to be done.
That's Yorkshire for you.
My other half does that. Just get a text. I need a Rosetta Stone to translate. Yeah. Both me and Mrs. Sick tend to write in full sentences to each other. That's just how text should work. Who doesn't have time to write the full words? But I will then be annoying at her. I think I sent one the other day and she had no fucking idea what I was talking about.
No, you made it really weird. I had no idea. I literally said, "Are you having a stroke?" back because it sounded like it.
That was it. We went out shopping, and then later in the day, she went out to do something else, and she sent me a text saying, "When we went shopping, we needed foil." So she went, "Damn it, I needed foil." And I put, "Foil fail. It is in Le Basquet." Meaning, yeah, well, foil fail, I feel, is obvious. But it is in Le Basquet, it's in the basket, as in it's in the shopping basket for online shopping. I thought it was pretty fucking obvious. She thought I was some sort of robot monster from the future. Bonds, plonker, wanker, nons, bollocks. Now I text in British in the form of slang word salad. Well, be careful with the word nonce, because it's got a very specific meaning. And if you call someone that and they're not that, you might get punched in the face. You could call someone a plonker or a wanker or say bollocks, but you call them a nonce, you're basically calling them a paedophile. And, well, actually, you're specifically calling them a gay paedophile. And some people might take exception to that. just pointing that out. Wait, is scooping out my own eyes a Yorkshire pudding? No, a Yorkshire pudding is just a delicious thing of fucking, is it pastry? I think of the right word. Whatever it is, they're nice. If you've had real Yorkshire puddings, you know why they're nice. It's horrible when we use a Canadian accent in texting. It's just, "Oh, sorry, so sorry, eh?" in an infinite loop. We can read it, but it causes fatal politeness in others. I can imagine so. I'd like to read a novel written by Mrs. Sick's sister. No one would.
Scribes will be looking at that for hundreds of years.
Do the British call £2,000 a ton of money? As far as I'm aware, a ton is just £100. And also a oneer. But I could be wrong about that. That's just what I've always thought. What is a ton in English money? A large amount of money, typically equivalent to £100. Yes, but a ton could be more necessarily. But yeah, as I understood it, I don't mind the term ton for £100. I hate the term oneer for £100 because you've got a fiver, which is £5, and a tenner, which is £10. But a oneer, that should just be a £1 coin. It confused me, and I disliked it immensely.
I like the monkey. That's my favourite.
I can't remember what a monkey is.
It's £500.
Okay. I don't know why that's a monkey. It's probably Cockney rhyming slang, isn't it?
As far as... I don't think it is. I think it comes from racist means.
Lots of money.
I just think it's funny to call money a monkey.
An arse load of money. I mean, that is going to be a decent amount of money. A grand is called a grand, as it said it was a grand amount of money to have. I mean, that's some walking around money to this day. I've occasionally heard 1,000 referred to as a brick, but it might be a local thing. That sounds like a drug dealer thing, I'll be honest.
Yeah.
That sounds like you got 1,000 in tenors, so it's like probably quite a substantial if it's got the banknote like wrap thing on it. Yeah. So maybe you know more drug dealers than you thought you did. I could be completely wrong. Maybe it's very normal, but I've never heard brick. To be honest, the regional specific to various areas versions of words and dialects. £2,000 is a Jeffrey. I find that hard to believe. That sounds like you made that up. £1,000 is a band. I like quid. It rhymes with about 150 in American. Currently, I think it's about 120. Can you say a bottle of water? Yeah. Or I could say bottle of water. Looney and Toonies here, and if you put about 100 or 50 in a pile, you get a brown note or a Sir Robert Borden. Our money is fucked. That's fair. I live in the US. We don't have commonly circulated dollar coin. I have to travel to Canada to glue a loony to the ground if I want to laugh like an asshole. Okay. A brick of drugs. I mean, yeah, like cocaine comes in bricks, doesn't it? 420 is a snoop. That sounds like it's more likely to be. I can't imagine English caring quite as much about Snoop Dogg. I mean, I could be wrong. From Jeffrey Archer leaving £2,000 as a payoff. Is that right? If that's true, that's actually really funny. Is Mrs. Six's sister hot? In the most diplomatic way I can put it, she is not my type. By some degrees.
My sister is quite an ill person, so she often loses weight very rapidly, and she does look anorexic. But because of her conditions, she also can't bulk up either. Yeah. She has to eat very.
Actually, if she ate a lot, she'd be very sick.
She mainly has a vegetarian diet. She can eat meat, but she tries not to because it affects her condition.
But she's very, very gaunt a lot of the time. Yeah. It's not It's not something that appeals to me. You might have a different opinion. Yeah.
Whereas I am the opposite. I am like a boulder.
No, you're not. But she's very sexy. I like Mrs.
Yes, Six. I have curves, yes.
She, what some people go, she's a real woman. She sounds hot. She's single? No, she's married. Although, no, never mind. I almost missed your stream. I mean, if you want more streams, Mrs. Sick has started streaming during the week, as long as you're not working, pretty much. Or actually, there have been people who've turned up to a stream while they work, and they go, "Oh, I'm working at the moment, so I won't be able to talk much." And then they talk constantly. It's actually kind of brilliant. I love that. Just get as much money out of your place. One of them has come every day, pretty much, and the day they were late, they said, "Oh, my fucking boss made me work down in the basement, and there's no signal." I thought that's absolutely hilarious. Round is the best shape. Well, it allows you to go bowling without the ball. If you want more streams, drink more water. I mean, you'll still only have one. Unless drinking water gives you multiple penises / vaginas / whatever other holes someone might have. I come every day. Ask your wife. Well, I don't have a wife. So I could ask someone and they're going to be very confused. Sickness streams? Where? Did you just find out where when you looked in the bottom? I'm working at the moment. Good job, Bruce Wayne. I mean, if you're really Bruce Wayne, that can only mean that you're fighting crime whilst also talking in this stream, which sounds terrible. Ask a wife, any wife. Ask someone's wife. For more streams, you can try pinching the end. You can. And if you're just like super weird, you could like pinch off the end and allow your foreskin to inflate like a balloon until it explodes. And then it's more like a grenade. I use Spaceballs as a shitload of money to mean $1 million. Do you need to reference this amount of money? Do you often say, "Oh, it's about 7 Spaceballs. I'll get it to you on Tuesday"? Because if so,
I have 7 holes. Is that normal? Well, it depends what you define as a hole.
Yeah, that sounds pretty normal. Yeah, it could depend on what counts as a hole. But
you have a crevice, I guess. They call them orifices, though, don't they? They're not really holes.
Well, mouth is a hole.
Well, it's not a hole.
And each nostril is a hole. And the ears are holes. And then you've got your bits.
If going by that logic, then
and your back, and then the ones on your feet.
I would have
8.
10.
10?
Yeah. Because of tear ducts.
Those don't count. I mean, if you've got your eyes poked out, then they count.
This is why we need to know what defines as a hole.
What counts as a hole.
And also, yeah, all the pores on your skin as well.
I mean, who's gonna fuck a paw? It's all about
a face mite.
Could you stick a penis into it?
Face mites do that.
I mean, ears are a bit of a stretch. I mean, they will be when you stick a penis in it.
Oh my god. Step into my orifice.
I would definitely, if I had an office, I would call it my orifice. That would be fucking great. You didn't count all of your pores. I mean, I'm not gonna. It would take a while. I assume there's a lot. Get a pube in the way of the urethra. The pee will go in 2 directions. How long are your pubes? Or how short is your penis?
Why have you tried that?
If we don't count small holes like nostrils, human are topologically equivalent to a donut or a mug. Well, because if you just... Like, there's one major hole that has 2 ends, which is the mouth to the arsehole. And yeah, humans are technically donuts. If you can step into someone's office, is it a wind tunnel? I don't...
Orifice.
Oh, orifice. I don't know. A hole should make you a donut. I mean, that seems fair. Sit counting his paws. You not forget he is the laziest cosmic horror around? I am very lazy. Like, doing stuff, it does sound like effort. I'll be honest. Humans also taste better deep fried, so there's that too. This is fair and accurate.
Humans are walking shit tubes. Yeah, some more than others.
I mean, I was covering some today, and it's quite the thing. Plough King is Cornholio. He needs TP for his bunghole. Excellent, Bill and Ted. That is not the correct ones. Fucking Beavis and Butthead. Thank you, brain. My just brain went immediately. Oh, that's Bill and Ted, isn't it? Yeah. No, not even remotely accurate.
I love how your brain is cockney.
My brain goes, what, mate? We're going to be talking about pingers. What the fuck is a pinger? They're small wind tunnels. You don't have to be able to get inside. It's for testing small models. I mean, surely, if it's small, then it's not even that accurate. I mean, I'm sure it can be a certain level of accurate. Your butt is a wind tunnel. My butt is a wind tunnel. I have been farting like an absolute champion today. One of those times when I stand up and I try and hold one in and I have to walk past Mrs. Sick and it just goes... And I'm like... Ugh. And if she notices, she gives me this look like I did it on purpose. I never fart at her on purpose.
You totally do it on purpose.
I have never farted at you on purpose, apart from the one time. Golf clubs and penguins fuck the humans and feed the gremlins under the covers. Not that small. Thank you so much. That was very helpful. A YTP of Beavis and Butthead scene. The military guy in the classroom. I don't recall that. I'm not completely versed on the entire Beavis and Butthead verse. I've played one of the games, I think Virtual Stupidity, which spoke to me quite nicely. And Beavis and Butthead Do America is an amazing film to watch when you're smashed. I assume it's also good when you're high as fuck, but I have never done that. What is the worst argument for God you have ever heard? I'll tell you what the most fucking annoying one is, because they think it's brilliant, and it is absolutely trash. And I got it today, and it annoyed the piss out of me. It is never the same, but it is always the same argument, which is they will explain a thing in science that we have a fair understanding of, and they will conclude, therefore God. And that's it. Every fucking time. And it's so fucking annoying. There's a whole website.
What, you mean like medicine, people make medicine, therefore God?
It's more, here's this complicated topic, and it works like this, and this happens, and wow, isn't it complicated, therefore God. And it's like, but you didn't actually demonstrate anything other than that phenomena exists and this is how we understand it. But they always think it's brilliant, because I think the concept is that if you can explain a scientific phenomenon, then...
Does that mean you're smart enough to say that God exists?
I think it's very annoying. I remember the first time it happened, some guy was like talking shit at me, and I said, well, what's the most convincing you've got? And he sent me this, and I was so fucking disappointed, because he was so fucking certain. He's like, no, this will change your life. And I read the whole goddamn thing, and it was literally this thing, therefore God. It was so annoying. Any opinion on one of the most important things? Jey Uso winning the Royal Rumble. Yeet. Cheers. I have to apologize. I'm assuming that's WWE, and I don't really watch it. So, whatever your opinion is, yeah.
I would definitely say that the most overused is the watchmaker.
Watchmaker comes up a lot.
Because all they need to do is just change a maker and an item they create.
If you find a computer screen, you know that it was made by a person. And if I find a rock, I know it was made by natural causes.
If you find a vase, if you find a cup, I'm like, shut up.
If you find a jizz splat.
Oh my god, dude. Is it in the shape of the Virgin Mary?
Not much of a virgin if she's a jizz splat. They don't explain. They take credit because God, it is maddening. There's various versions of it, but it is basically, at its most annoying level, a very in-depth explanation that goes on usually for pages, and then just ends with therefore God. And they never seem to understand that there's no jumping off point. It's just straight to it. This is awesome. This is amazing, therefore God. There's no how that would work. Why God would do it like that. Why God had to do it like that. What about fucking miracles? Just, it misses so many fucking points. It's obscene. And it annoys the living piss out of me. Whether or not it's the worst argument, I don't know. But it's the one I dislike the most. Mostly because the people who make it are often incredibly smug. Yeah. God's jizz splat looks like Jesus. I mean, it literally was. I mean, if it's a virgin conception, then I can only assume that God's cum is what Jesus was actually made of. Because if she uses one of her eggs, is it really virgin? So, yeah, Jesus was a jizz baby. Changed my mind.
So what is your best argument against God then?
Someone is asking that. I don't think there is a best argument against God. I don't think that question makes any sense, because I don't buy other people's arguments. I can argue all day against other people's arguments, but when someone tells me to prove God doesn't exist, it's like, well, that's not what I'm doing. I just don't believe your claim. It's the classic case of the burden of proof. Like, I am well within my rights to not accept your arguments and your particular worldview, especially if it's particularly unconvincing.
Well, the answer usually is because, like, does God exist? He is, like, the ultimate foundation is I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know, therefore and the fact that we have all this other evidence that seemingly proves that he doesn't exist, it might be better if we just don't believe.
There are arguments to be made against particular gods, which usually use, but they're still, as a general rule, a reply to a claim about him. The Abrahamic God is triomni, which is a state of being that makes no sense. It is an illogical thing, because in a universe where bad things happen, where suffering exists, no good God could have infinite power and the desire to fix them, so he can't be perfectly good or perfectly able. So yeah, it all depends. There's a lot of various positions and things to take. But as a general rule, I absolutely don't think I can prove the non-existence of God. And I think anybody who thinks they can either doesn't understand the question or is a little bit deluded. I think you have to take an honest sort of look at yourself and say, what can I actually demonstrate? And just, yeah, make sure you understand your own position and your own stance on things. And you'll generally come off as the least stupid possible. But don't be afraid of being stupid as well. Or just, I don't know. Beans. That's where I was going with
beans,
that.
exactly. Beans. And I should write beans.
I wouldn't even say there's evidence God doesn't exist, simply that I've never seen anything that would convince me it does. That's pretty concise way of putting it.
I do a big beans or a little beans.
The problem with any supernatural entity is that it's supernatural, which means not natural, which means you can't fucking prove it either way. It is an unfalsifiable concept. So, yeah. Which is why it's fun to take on people who say they can prove God, because it's the exact same problem in reverse. The self-evident truth of our shared naturalistic atheistic reality has been revealed to all of sound mind, both natural and special revelation, in an undeniable way. That is how a Christy Bob would put it, but probably the other way, so that's fun. Maybe the whole triomni thing is just an expression of the ultimate Dunning-Kruger. Triomni thing only expresses his opinion of himself and not his actual abilities. That's fair. God is I've made that argument that God is just a liar, or God is incompetent. If there is a God and he is supposed to be reflected as he is in the biblical text, the only explanation I have is that he is a complete fuck up. And I think that's a fair position to take on the Abrahamic God, that he is actually just kind of a comedy of errors kind of character who just keeps fucking stuff up. Like, he tried to get the Bible written in a way that would make sense and that everybody would read and go, oh, it's all true. Instead, it was the Bible.
I do. I like the idea of the whole miracles thing, because when you actually look at it, you see how after a certain point, I think it's after cameras became a thing.
It's exactly after the point where we could
start
almost
documenting
entirely accurately capture reality.
They reduced massively after that. And
I'd be quite interested to see when we get to the point.
And the miracles that they did claim were usually very oddly just like normal. Like, oh, they looked over a horizon and they thought, oh, it's going to rain, and then it rained. It's a miracle. And it's just like, what?
I'd be quite interested to see after AI video, like if they perfect it and you can literally make a completely convincing, unable to be proven false or not video, when suddenly miracles go through the fucking roof. I would see that happening, and like most people will stop believing it. You were doing really good, then everybody died. Bender is God. Yes, you were doing it really good until everybody died. Or then I can't remember. Oh, can I offer you a word basket of encouragement? What is a word basket, and can I eat it? The amount of moving Mary statues really dropped, or just generally like crying or doing all sorts of things when people come along to check. Like, if you want an example of one of the worst fucking miracles, it's the one that made Mother Teresa famous. If I understand it correctly, the miracle was that they went to film her down in this dark place, and she appeared on camera, and it was and like normally the film, she just wouldn't show up. The technology just wasn't there, and yet there she was. It was amazing. And then it turned out that the film crew were just using a new fucking tech that made it very easy to see people in the dark, and that was it. I could be getting that wrong, but it is something like that. And it is the stupidest shit you've ever heard in your fucking life.
I like the one with
would drive you crazy.
The patron saint and the internet.
Oh God.
Who?
I almost feel so. I feel sorry for if he's dead. Obviously.
So is this kid who was dying of leukemia, and he said, "I'm going to die of leukemia," and that was and he did.
That
and
was one of his miracles.
And that was one of his miracles.
Because he predicted his own death.
That's ridiculous.
Yeah. So I mean, basically, this kid became the patron saint of the internet, probably because he fixed his connected to the church dad's fucking Wi-Fi one time. It was he had a really ridiculous.
he had like a hyperfixation on like saints, I think.
Yeah.
So he made like a website dedicated to
He was probably very religious.
Yeah.
Can you offer an egg in these difficult times? I can't afford eggs. Jesus, what do you think I am? Favorite movie, Cersic. No, Cersic is not my favorite movie. He's a YouTuber. That doesn't even. What's wrong with you? I don't know what my favorite movie is. When you get to being old enough, you'll discover that nothing is your favorite anymore. You have lots and lots of things that you really rather like. And the biggest problem is just watching the things you like over and over again. I rewatched the film Crank the other day, and it was really fun. I watched that film like half a dozen times. Watched it again, and I was like, that was really good. I mean, it's aged, and it has some fucking moments in it that are like, oh my God. But it's clearly mostly just supposed to not be taken at all seriously, no matter what it's doing. So yeah. Are you the patron saint of whiskey? I think I'd have to be dead, and I don't want to do that. That sounds bad. I have mastered the miracle of unplugging the PC and plugging it back in. Send me your tithe. Fair. That is how that works.
There is a patron saint of whiskey.
Ah.
It's called Lemmy.
Lemmy? Oh, right. That makes sense. I don't really care if God's real or not.
Patron saint of whiskey and loud music.
I don't care if God's real or not, so long as the followers have said God stop being insufferable bellends. If that ever happens, I won't have a channel anymore. I currently own 13 eggs. That is so many eggs. Zach, do you want to lend me some egg? Cersic is the demigod of whiskey. He was too drunk in the inauguration of gods. He stayed a demigod. That sounds likely. Even though I am the most powerful of all the fake gods. My father took me to see Crank when I was 12. I was quite traumatized. That is not a movie for kids. I mean, the kids kept coming in and out of the living room. We had to keep pausing it because that film goes. And it certainly goes places. But yeah, If you don't take it seriously, it's actually a lot of fun. Right, we have 10 seconds left, and I am desperate for my sort of my general. It's not the word I'm looking for.
You need to pee.
Yeah, I really need to piss. So, yeah, we'll catch you in the next one. Go and watch Mrs. Six stream tomorrow. Go join in. Give us shit. Enjoy her. Have fun. And I'll catch you all in the next one. I can't remember where my button is. There it is.
Bye bye.
All right, bye.